Invocation is going to be by Mr. Shatswell, our fire chief, and we'll follow with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for the opportunity to come before you tonight, Lord. We pray for wisdom and knowledge of city council members, Lord. We just ask that you please look over our little community, Lord, and continue to bless us the way you have here, Lord. We just ask for your protective hand over all of us, Lord. And again, thank you for this beautiful place we live in. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Ms. Cox, if we could get the roll call, please.
Councilor Davis.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mauser. Here. Mayor Warren.
Here.
Councilor Upton.
Here. All right, we're all here and we have a quorum. Move on to the consent agenda. Item 5, approval of minutes. Item 5A, regular council meeting, March the 6th, 2023. 5B, special council meeting, March 14th, 2023. Item 6, approval of the treasurer's report. Item 7, approval of the March payroll figures for the general fund in the amount of $120,414.98. Receipt of March claims, City of Eufaula. But I want to add something. Turn your cell phones off, please. All right, council.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Councilor Davis.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser. Yes. Mayor Warren.
Yes.
Councilor Upton.
Yes.
All yes, consent agenda. Passes. Move on to item. Did I skip one here somewhere though? No, you didn't. Consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and or postponement of a concessionaire agreement between the City of Eufaula and Tim Albro, DBA Eufaula Public Market, for the property formerly occupied by the Lake Eufaula Association. We had 2 speakers. The first one was Jennifer Albro. If you would come up to the podium, please, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. I'm here. Unfortunately, my husband couldn't be here today. Like he introduced me, I'm Jennifer Albro. I have been living here for 2 years, but I've been visiting this lake for quite some time. My father-in-law, which is Frank Albro, and this is a good friend, Jared, which is our designer. We are looking to put in basically some rental properties because we know the need of rental properties. And also we talked about bringing in some food trucks in I call it the roundabout area. Because of the need of rental properties, I've had family members and friends come and visit this lake, and I understand that they really don't have a lot of places to rent. We talked about long-term rentals, and we've also talked about short-term rentals right now. We haven't made a final decision yet, but we do know that there is a need for it. Like I said, I've been coming here for a lot of years. Our family has been coming here for a lot of years, and we're just really, truly just trying to bring something really, nice and attractive to this community. So, that's pretty much it.
Council, any questions? I have, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
How many properties?
It's kind of, we were thinking we'd do it in phases, obviously working with the city, but we're not really confirming anything yet because we need to obviously sit down and kind of come up with, the plan. And, but, obviously it'll be more than a couple, I know that the property is quite large. So, and obviously depending on the demand that we need. So we were thinking about doing it in phases. And obviously, starting with maybe the inspirational garden, as you guys know it right now. I've been talking to the chamber and a couple other people to kind of get ideas as far as like, because I really don't want to disturb property too much. I really want to keep what's there because there's a lot of established trees and garden area. So, it kind of really, once we start placing them, we'll get a better idea of how many we can fit, on the property.
That's some check plans.
Way down the end.
I couldn't remember, it's been so long since we had good weather. You could propose plans or
Yes.
diagrams.
Yes, we'll work with the city and, and figuring out what we can do and what we can't, obviously, too.
So have you in the city talked with the Corps of Engineers? Because you talk about moving trees and stuff like that. I think that's going to present a problem.
No, we're really gonna try to preserve the trees that are there. We're really not going to like trees, because obviously, I really like what's there, they're established. And there's a lot of garden area that's even established, so really, truly, we're really gonna try to work around everything.
Well, I'm just telling you, if you do, the Corps is not going to move it. I can
Yeah,
tell you right now.
yeah, right.
What
But really,
about-
truly, I'd like to keep it all, seriously.
What about Inspiration Gardens? Are you wanting to keep it there?
We talked about, I actually met, with Pam, I don't know, I'm sure you guys are familiar with her, she's the one that's been taking care of it. I really, truly, I was talking to her about, maintaining it, and I know that she's had some struggles maintaining it. So we're really trying to bring it more, bring it up to, I guess is how you'd say it, make it more up to date with the flower beds and, kind of make it a little bit more presentable.
What, so the round circle concrete pad that's out there,
Yes.
are you gonna be proposing to do away with that?
No. I actually was going to work with the city about trying to figure out something to either, because I know there's a lot of flooding that comes in there, and they mentioned something about maybe possibly there was a drain that had an issue or something. So we were gonna maybe try to propose like either put some type of gravel on top of it, trying to, do away with the wetness. But obviously, whatever we can do to make it look a little bit more attractive.
The question, and I'm going, Kay, will I be out of line if I ask the fire chief a question?
No, I don't think so. I think if you think his input would factor into what you need to know, I think that would be fine.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
I know that we have the new helipad at the operation.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes when we have to land two birds at one time, I know that we use that round
Yes,
concrete structure.
yes.
What is your opinion, sir?
We can find places to do it, Mayor. If we're bringing something like this into our city, I think it'd be a benefit. We'll be able to work around and find other places to land the bird.
Okay.
We'll do, and I will find other places. We land them in the middle of the road. We can put them in places that we need to.
Okay.
Where they can be. If we get into that situation, that's what we do. We will find somewhere else to put that bird down if we have to.
Okay,
That won't be an issue, Mayor.
all right, thank you, sir.
So this is considered a concession agreement.
Yes.
This is a standard core, this is a standard core agreement. This agreement's used for, about 40, it's used for Sammy's, it's used for everything that we
Well, that's
lease.
More like what I consider a concession.
Yes,
but,
yes.
but this, which she's proposing, you know, houses.
Well, what they're proposing is, I believe, is cabins, is
Yeah.
like rental cabins, that as, to me, they would be, pier mounted, not footed, and everything would be pier mounted. We've been real clear up front that any work that's done there has to go through the board. So, if you approve this lease, it still has to go to the board and make sure that they're kosher with it. And any plans that are submitted for anything there, it would need to come through us and then back to the court. Back to the court. That's how we would handle it.
And just so you guys know, that's our understanding too. Obviously, we won't do anything unless they approve it.
Oh, I mean, we do need housing. You know, that.
All right. Any questions for her, council?
Well, tell you something. I know we're talking about pier mounted, but it's going to have to be on full property. My understanding, it has to be where easily accessible move. Is that not correct?
That will be, it'll be that way. The biggest thing, what I found with Ford, is that it all boils down to how much soil do you have to move? If you mount them, treat them as a pier, or you auger out a hole, set your pier, mount them on the pier, it would be easy. If you ever had to go back and reclaim them to move them, you're still portable. And then you could just pull the piers and then we'd be good to go. Because they, it's just like the, splash pad. There's soil movement there, all that has to be approved. So it's not that they won't. It's just go through that process, submit the plans, and let the Corps and the real estate office review it. And if there's issues that need to be addressed, they'll let us know. If it's a yes, they'll tell us that. If it's a no, well, I'm sure we'll get that as well. So, we went through that process with the splash pad. We're going through that same process with the bathrooms at Nichols Point. We've went through that at Nichols Point for a potential pavilion project to increase that. We've already have that permission because it requires soil removal. And we had, to do that, we had artifact. They had to go in and actually do a historical study, historical survey to make sure that there was no type of artifacts in that area that would be disturbed. So there's a process to it.
Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time.
Ms. Rossi?
Thank you for letting me come up and speak, and I just wanted to let you know, actually, Tim's plan is an answer to prayer for me, really. It's been a little bit of a struggle over the last 5 years to keep that garden going, and having volunteers has been wonderful. We've done it all on volunteer basis, and most of us put our own money into that area. So I am in support of this project for that area. We do have a new garden club in town that has started. And I think it was a little disappointing for us that we wouldn't have that area to work on right now. But there is some opportunity. Jen and I talked today, and there might be some opportunity to come up for that group to be able to help or utilize that area possibly. So we're still talking about that. But we did have 4 years step up to the plate from the garden club, so that was wonderful. I would just encourage that communication keep going with all entities. I think that's really important so that we're communicating and I'm here to help them with their project in any way that we can. The chamber has a project, which is really kind of a tourist attraction type project to see happen in town somewhere. So I think Jen and the chamber have been talking, and so there's a possibility of that being included possibly in that area. And the one thing I would like to remind everyone is that Leon and Brenda Logan, that was their garden. And they had the inspiration. And many of us have volunteered and tried to keep that garden going over. But they were the real true people who started that garden. And I would like to do something for them to commemorate their efforts in maintaining that garden. They did it for many years, and we've had some other people do it for many years. And just want to be sure that we keep their legacy going in some manner in our community. But I'm excited about this, and I think this is a great opportunity for our community. And just appreciate you letting me come up and talk about that.
Thank you. Council, any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Counselor Davis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Melzer. Yes. Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton.
Yes.
All yes, that motion carries. Let's go to item 10, consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement of a concessionaire agreement between the City of Eufaula and Kerry Castile, DBA CC Buggy Bath LLC for the defined area occupied by the ice machine formerly owned by the Lake Eufaula Association.
Thanks for having me. We're proposing that we can purchase that piece there, lease that piece there from the city. We're also gonna purchase the ice machine that's there now. That ice machine will be moved, and we also own the ice machine here across the street. We're gonna decorate that machine up, make it look like a new machine, and move it to that spot. And just continue to be an ice house.
So they both, where, when you move this one down, where will it be located?
It'll go away. It'll be sold. Anybody interested?
Do you plan on doing that property there that the ice machine is sitting?
No, sir, it's leased. I don't own it.
Okay. I mean, I knew it was leased, but I didn't know if you planned on
No,
renewing the lease on that piece or not.
not at this time. No.
Okay.
Our plans is to move down there.
Okay. Mr. Jones, do you have any input on that?
No, I just think that, both agenda items, I think are a good opportunity for the city. It's a good opportunity for L to divest themselves of what they have there to get out to their new site. I think that we have two individuals here that are going to do something that's first class. It's going to be right, it's going to be clean, it's going to look good, and it's going to contribute something to our local economy. We survive a lot on recreation dollars, and that's the driver of what they're wanting. Try to provide the services for our recreational customers, and it's a good spot for that kind of stuff. So, but again, in all the conversations we've had, we've fully discussed and vetted out what the core drives a lot of this, and so we have to submit it and then abide whatever decision they say.
Council, any other questions?
Approved.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, who's second? Warren? Counselor Davis?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser? Yes. Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Counselor Upton?
Yes.
All yes, that item is approved.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, sir. Item 11, consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement to award the nuisance abatement bid to Helms Construction. Mr. Jones, bring us up to date there.
All right. Yeah, on our nuisance abatement, we bid this out 2 years ago. And the way the contract's written is it operates for a year. At the end of year one, we have the ability with the vote of the council to extend it for a year, which is what we did last year. And so this year we went back out, rebid that contract, and we've advertised it, put it in the paper, put it on the website, and we received one quote, one bid, which was Helms Construction. They've done good work for us, and we recommend that you approve that bid.
I make a motion to approve item 11.
I'll second.
Counselor Davis?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser? Yes. Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Counselor Upton?
Yes.
All yes, item 11 is approved. We'll go on to item 12, consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement of pay application number 1 from Boyd Construction in the amount of $26,862.93 for the splash pad project.
It's happening. That's all I can say. It's happening. This pay application is for mobilization and the initial site grading and everything to get the project going. They've been on site last week and again this week. They're setting their silt fence. So when I talked to them this morning, we should be doing dirt work hopefully by Wednesday at the latest and maybe tomorrow. And we'll start moving dirt, and the splash pad will not just be a smoke dream. It's going to be real. It's going to be real, and I can't wait.
Any other questions, council? I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Counselor Davis?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mauser? Yes. Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Counselor Upton?
Yes.
All yes, item 12 passes. Item 13, remarks and inquiries by city council. Mr. Davis. Vice Mayor? I don't have any. All right, we'll move on. Item 14, announcements. Tomorrow's election day. Need to remember that. Everybody get out and vote. Very important.
I have a couple if you don't mind.
I don't mind. Go right ahead.
All right, so we talked about the splash pad. The one thing I want to bring up is there's been ongoing, some talk about the hospital and the clinic and different things up on the hill. So I met with the contractor and the real estate developer for that project. So they are currently bidding out the work for the medical clinic next door to City Hall. That clinic will get a complete rehab. It's going to have an urgent care portion to it, as well as a medical clinic facility portion to it. It is estimated to be $1 million project with a 4 to 6 month construction line on it. If everything goes to plan, they will start working on that project somewhere in the first 2 weeks of May. And so, it's great news for our town. It's a big, big step forward. Now, like I said, that's phase 1. Okay. Phase 2 is the hospital. Now, on the hospital aspect of it, they, in the process of doing a feasibility study. Feasibility study will where they do their research and try to determine, what services are going to be offered, how the hospital needs to be configured, how many rooms there needs to be, just all the particulars that come with that type of project. All right. They are fully funded for that hospital project. The demo will happen sooner than later. I think the demo will happen at some point after the clinic opens. Now, it's just kind of a personal opinion, but that's their plan, is to demo the hospital as it is now completely. Then they will rebuild it from scratch based on that feasibility and the architect designs at that point. So we have, through the House and Representative Randleman, we have been secured to receive approximately $5 million grant, ARPA money grant, that can be targeted towards healthcare. So we're working on that. We still got the particulars of how can we utilize those monies? What can we utilize them for? You got to be careful about mingling public dollars with private dollars. So there's things to be worked out. But the grant aspect at the state level is for sure. It actually has happened. All right. So that's good news for our town. Really, really good news for our town. Just to kind of move on, the sewer project, I know it's been an inconvenience with Main Street, but it's kind of a necessary process. They've completed the first block. They were pouring concrete today. They'll lay asphalt tomorrow, and then they're moving down a block. And so we'll move north of block, start the same process again. TV in, identifying taps, and get set up to pull that new pipe through, pipe burst it, and get it going. If everything goes right, each block should take about a week. I think they'll speed up now. They've kind of got some of their bugs worked out. From the water aspect of it, we're getting, I've always said we're right towards the end of it. We have a couple little small projects hanging out. One of them is the water tower behind the high school. We will be this week, contractor's going to be there. We're going to be replacing a 12-inch line that fills that tower. It'll be new pipe, coated, painted properly. And when it gets up into the tank, there'll be an inlet up high and outlet down low. And the idea is to create mixing in that tank. It helps water quality and helps us with our sampling and testing that we have to meet EPA requirements. Let's see, next thing. Fire station building. So fire station building's been a topic of discussion. We have bid documents put out. We advertised those. We opened bids on the 14th of April. I'm confident that we will get bids locally and hopefully some from the area. That way it will give us a sharp pencil and keep us on budget where we need to be. Let's see, we have the citywide cleanup coming April 22nd. We'll handle it similar to how we've handled in years past. We will have 7 dumpsters set at 2 at ODOT, 3 at Border, 1 here at the community center, and 1 at Osborne Park. And then we'll go around and have pieces of equipment there to compact and everything, just like we normally do. Cruise night, we're going to do cruise night April 29th. The sewer construction should be done. I hope so, because it's always a real popular item here in town. And then the last thing is next week, we have a Major League Fishing tournament. It's a MLF Tackle Warehouse Invitational number 3. This is a big deal. The MLF is it is professional fishing. It's not a club meet or anything like that. You're going to have probably 175 of some in the nation, and I think it'll be quite a feather in our cap to get this. I really do, because the lake is our industrial park, and we want to utilize that the best we can. And,
Well, I do want to add something.
yes,
With the new air ambulance.
Mhm.
I guess it was Wednesday when it was raining, or maybe. I went up, took pictures of it being stationed at the hospital. That is something that our community has needed for a long, long time. I even visited with one of the pilots. He said, I love it here. He said, this is great that we have this here. And I'm blessed that we have that air ambulance here based 24/7. Unless they're on a call, they're gonna be for our service. I am very blessed to have them here. This is a blessing for you all. Anything else?
oh, one other thing, when you leave here, one of our budget items that we had, the council had approved, last budget year was a street sweeper. And we have purchased a street sweeper, we've used it, it worked very well. It's where you're gonna see it out at night, cleaning Main Street, cleaning the side streets, and, we wanna try to put our city in the best picture we can to represent, the fine town that we are. So,
All right, anything else? All right, we'll move on to item 15 for adjournment of the regular city council meeting. I'll second.
Counselor Davis?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Melser? Mayor Warren?
Yes,
Counselor Upton?
yes.
all yes, we are adjourned. At 6:02 out of the regular city council meeting. We'll move on to the public works meeting. If I can find my paperwork here, I'll put shuffling around. And we're at 6:02, Ms. Collins,
Counselor Davis?
Here.
Vice Mayor Melser? Here. Mayor Warren?
here.
Counselor Upton?
All right, we'll go to consent agenda, approval of minutes, A, regular meeting, March 6, 2023. Approval of the March 2023 payroll figures for the Fall Public Works Authority in the amount of $58,482.54. Item 4, receipt of March claims for Fall Public Works Authority. Council?
I'll second.
Counselor Davis?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Melser? Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Counselor Upton?
Yes.
All yes, consent agenda has been approved. Move on to item 5, consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement of pay application number 30 from Lone Hickory Cattle LLC in the amount of $4,137.63 for the water improvement project.
All this is just some concrete work, small concrete work we had when we made the final disconnects from the old water system. And just real simple pay applications.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Counselor Davis?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Melser?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Counselor Upton?
Yes.
All yes, item 5 approved. Item 6, consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement of pay application number 2 from Lone Hickory Cattle LLC in the amount of $40,255.83 for the sewer improvement project.
So this payment here is for the start of the project when we been on Norm Hill, doing that initial setup and the initial pipe and different applications that they have there. So
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Counselor Davis?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Melser?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Counselor Upton?
yes.
All yes, item 6 passes. We'll go to item 7. Consideration of acceptance, approval, adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement of a trash service rate increase request by Sue's Recycling. Mr. Jones.
Taylor Smith with Sue's Recycling approached me a couple weeks ago about the possibility of making a presentation to council for rate increase on trash service. In year 7, I have 6.5 of the original contract, still operating at the 2016 prices. And so I'm gonna let him make his presentation and explain what they're thinking.
Mayor, council, I appreciate you all hearing me out. I haven't got the opportunity to meet everyone, but my name is Taylor Smith. I'm from Sue's Recycling. Documentation in your packet showing the trends of our costs that we've seen over the last few years since we started this providing service to the city. As Mr. Jones said, our rates are still in effect from 2016, and we've seen pretty significant increases since that time. As shown in the graphs, we have seen approximately a 61% increase in our landfill disposal costs, about a 69% increase in diesel, and a 34% increase in labor costs, those are the three biggest cost drivers to us providing services to the city. We have gone and made some pretty significant investments on our side to increase routing efficiency, to do some preventative maintenance on our equipment, to try to keep our costs low. We've done everything within our power, or we feel we've done everything within our power to passing along an increase to our customers, and we just are at a place where we can absorb more costs. So we come to you and ask that you consider this rate increase that we've proposed. I'm happy to answer any questions about the efforts that we've made to try to prevent passing this along to you. But as I said in the letter, this is a very important partnership for us, and we want to make sure that we're fair with the citizens of New Falls. We know these increases don't happen in a vacuum. So I'm happy to answer any questions about this.
So the residential cart would go up from $7 to $12.
No, sir. So currently, the residential card is $12 a month. It would go up to $14.50.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, that's my fault.
Okay, startled me.
I can certainly see the need for a rate increase. We know everything's going up.
I appreciate that.
Nobody likes it, but.
And like I said before, we don't take this lightly. We know that everyone feels the impact of the inflation we're going through, and our intent isn't to pass this along, but at some point, we just can't continue to absorb the costs. We've done everything we can to streamline operations, efficient, be careful with our spending, but costs have just risen to a point that we've got to do something.
So for the elderly and disabled residences,
Yes, sir.
there's not going to be any change there.
That's correct. We feel like that population is perhaps the hardest hit by
They're
inflation.
maxed out.
Yeah,
They're maxed out.
and we understand that. So if we can contribute to helping them get by, we're glad to do that.
What age is elderly?
65 plus.
What are disabled, what kind of requirements?
I mean, to be honest with you, we're very lenient about that. If someone asks, we typically just accommodate them. I mean, we're not here to split hairs.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
When we had the snowstorm, ice storm,
Yes, sir.
why weren't you guys running on Saturdays to get caught up?
So when we had the snowstorm and ice storm, where we run into issue is if we miss one day, we are glad to make it up. If we miss 2 days, sometimes we can even double up. When we miss an extended period, it becomes very difficult to get back out and get back on schedule. And especially, let's say you're a Monday pickup and we miss you. By the time we get to you on Saturday, it doesn't make a lot of sense because we're right back at your home on Monday. I can tell you, I personally lose a lot of sleep at those times because it doesn't feel like there's a great solution when we have an extended period where we can't operate. And our solution to that is just to do our best we can to communicate what we can do to the citizens. We proactively send out text messages to try to make sure as many people as we can inform are proactively notified of the attempts that we're making. And just get back on schedule and get the town cleaned up when we can operate safely. So that's a very valid question. If we'd missed 1 day or 2 days, we'd be happy to run on the weekends, knock those out and get back on schedule. When there's an extended period like that, it's just really difficult to cram 4 or 5 days into a weekend where oftentimes the roads are for safe travel.
I understand that about the safety on the roads and stuff, that's a big factor, but a lot of residential areas, within that week and a half period, had a lot of trash build up. Of course, it blowed around the neighborhoods all the way, and it was kind of like, if there were bags sitting on the ground, some of the guys didn't pick them up. They left the bags there. So I don't know what that was about.
I can tell you it was our intention to make sure all of that was picked up. We are aware whenever there's an interruption, especially when people are trapped in their homes, like during a snowstorm. You're probably cooking at home, you're probably maybe eating out, well, I mean, like ordering. We know there's gonna be extras, so the instructions to our crews was to make sure that gets cleaned up and to get everything that's out. So I'm happy to look at that at a case-by-case basis. If you've got a specific address or something, I don't want to generalize anything.
Yeah, I understand. I would just bring it to your attention.
No, I appreciate that, and feedback is welcome and it's appreciated.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I appreciate your time. Thank you, folks.
We'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion. I'm just saying, the only reason I'm gonna second the motion is because you're saying 55 and older will not be affected.
Yes, sir.
Now, if they're affected, then we got a problem.
I understand.
Can we clarify that that is for the senior card? There's a different size card for that. So if they're 65 and older and they want the senior card, they need to let City Hall know. And and cities will switch that out for us. Am I correct? Toby?
Yes, that's right.
It says 65-gallon car.
The senior card is a little bit smaller. It's not quite as large.
95 and 65.
That's correct.
So the regular car you have at your house is a 95-gallon car. And then with the senior car, it's 30 gallons less than 65. But they also generally, they generate a lot less, a lot less traffic.
That don't make sense to me.
No.
That don't make sense to me because you're saying that seniors don't produce as much trash as somebody else.
That's been my experience.
I've got a senior, one person. And she's got a cart and every week it's full. If you don't believe it, come over and look, every week.
I agree with you, Mr. Davis.
Like I say, I'm for the rate increase, but I'm not for a smaller cart. What difference is it gonna make? You gotta pick the trash up anyway. So what difference does the cart size make? That's what I wanna understand.
Sure. The intention behind that was, I don't want to stereotype it, generally, sometimes senior citizens have difficulty with mobility, have difficulty getting that out. The smaller cart was intended to be easier to roll to and from the curb, more convenient for them. Oftentimes seniors live alone. I mean, that was the idea behind the smaller cart, whenever this contract was put in place.
So it's optional to get the smaller cars.
Right, so if you if you call for the senior rate that is at a smaller cart, that's not a requirement. If you're 65 plus, you're welcome to have a standard cart at the standard rate.
How many senior carts do we have now in town, you think?
I don't have that information in front of me.
We have several.
There's quite a few, yeah,
There's quite a few.
there are quite a few.
But they're all getting the 95 gallon.
No, right now we have the 65 gallon.
Okay.
So they would continue to have the same one that they have and their rate would not increase.
Right, theirs would be unchanged.
What about the seniors that have the normal size carts right now and need those carts? Why would they still receive the increase if they had that larger cart?
So the larger cart rate would increase, yes. So if they're not on a senior rate, then yes, they would be impacted by the increase.
Could you read,
Whoa, 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 whoa.
say what you guys are saying, that's all.
I just don't see. We will get an increase, but I don't see what different cart size make. I do not see it. And that's what I want somebody to explain to me, what difference the cart size make. You gotta pick it up, I don't care if it's 65 or 95, you gotta pick it up.
Sure. No,
Like Taylor said, the main thing is the 65 gallon is a lot easier for the adults, for the senior citizens to maneuver around. If they want gallons, we don't have an objection with that. This was put in mind for that thought, because it was easier for the seniors to move around.
Like he brought up, what about the seniors that have the 95 gallon cart? Will they rate go up?
they will, yes.
So what you saying to me, and this is after the fact, you told me that the rate wasn't gonna go up. Now you're telling me because they have a bigger cart, the rate's gonna go up. That should have been brought out in your presentation.
I'm sorry if I wasn't clear about that. I wasn't trying to.
Well, you sure wasn't clear about it.
Okay, well, the way that the contract is written is the senior carts are provided at a discount. It's a smaller cart. That's nothing new. That's not new in this presentation. It's not new in this pricing model. So as long as the seniors are enrolled as seniors receiving senior service, there will be no adjustment to their rate. If a senior needs additional carts or needs larger carts, those people will be impacted by the increase. So it only will affect people with the standard size carts.
So when,
Okay.
on this proposal, like you mentioned, 65 gallon car for elderly and disabled, it says a 25, I mean, a 65 gallon. It doesn't say 30 on this. It says no change.
Well, myself, whoever's talking in the background, chief, take care of it. I'm tired of people disrupting our council meetings.
So that, when, on this proposal right here.
I'm sorry, let me get a little closer. I can hardly hear you. Okay, yes, ma'am.
We get back down to it.
If I'm on page 6 of 9, I've read this before, I looked at it, but what's disturbing to me, I mean, I understand your fuel costs have went up. And your labors went up. I understand that, because it's went up everywhere, not just in your industry. I'm with Mr. Davis. I don't understand why, if you have a 95-gallon car at a disabled or elderly person's home, what is the difference in between picking up a 95 and a 65? That's my point, because I'm going to tell you about personal. I have some neighbors that I live next door to that are disabled. They live alone. They have the big 95-gallon, just like I have, and theirs is full every week, just like mine.
Okay.
And that's, I just don't understand why. I don't know why we would jump that up. You still have to pick the trash up no matter what.
Sure, I understand.
I just feel like the seniors and the disabled need a discount to begin with. Across the board, doesn't matter what size container they have. That's just my opinion. Those are the ones we need to look out for, the main reasons. I mean, if they need a bigger cart for $12, or if they need a 65-gallon for $12, it's $12. You know, no increase, they need to have that. I mean, like I said, they're stretching money as far as they can stretch it. And I just feel like they need to break more than others do. But I don't agree with the increase for them at all.
I think what we need to do, I think, I'm going to make a motion that we go back into discussions with Sue's and bring us back to next month's council meeting. Is my motion.
I'll second.
It's tabling, correct?
It is. If you bring it up, if you table it, to bring it up at the next meeting we may have a special meeting next week to swear in a new member. So I wouldn't table, I would just make a motion to bring it up at the next regular meeting. Is
I'll
that
make
what
a-
you mean?
Yes, that's what I meant, for the next regular meeting.
And that would not be tabled.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Counselor Davis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mills,
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton.
Yes.
All yes, that motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, folks. I appreciate it.
All right, item 8 is adjournment of Uphall Public Works Authority at 6:24.
Motion.
All set.
Counselor Davis.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mills.
Yes.
Mayor Warren,
Yes.
Counselor Upton.
Yes.
All yes, we are adjourned at 6:25.